This week's episode is sponsored by Soul Roots Running Company, where you can find the best covers for your feet that make you travel comfortably and quickly across sidewalks like Shell Silverstein. Soul Roots offers all varieties of running shoes, clothes, and accessories. And for 10% off, please use the code SCENE, SCENE, at checkout. And any order over $180 is free to ship anywhere in the continental United States. Head over to shop.soulrootsracing.com and fill up your cart for 10% off with the code SCENE. And welcome to the Scene Weekly podcast, where we roll out the red carpet and devour one movie theme every half fortnight. I don't know what we're doing here, but this week's episode is focused on our first single movie podcast, and maybe seemingly the last. Mission Impossible is our focus. I don't know why. I thought this would be a good pun, but it does sum up, I guess, what we have in front of us, and or a Mission Impossible. But come join Jonathan and Steven for another week of hopefully less plot chatter and copious more film banter. We are Scene Weekly, and welcome to our new world.
Welcome, welcome. Happy to be here. This is definitely a mission that I chose to accept, and I feel like the tape is self-destructing as we speak. But
yeah, I don't know what this is. I ironically, as well as purposefully, wanted this to be, I don't know, maybe as silly as possible, as well as like all puns on the table and dad jokes.
I like dad jokes.
All the worst reasons. So Mission Impossible, I was like, why don't we do Mission Impossible? First of all, I haven't seen it in a while. Probably 10 years like yourself. But yeah, I want to watch the rest of them. I've done this before, like 10 years ago, where I did Mission Impossible 1, and after like the second, I was like, okay, I think I don't know if I can make it to the third. And I watched the third, I was like, I definitely, if there's any more after that, I haven't even finished them since. So
there's 7 in total right now, so there's a lot. Do you think they get progressively better or progressively worse, or they kind of stay even keel?
They get worse. Yeah, they get worse. But, you know, Tom eventually gets older. Tom Cruise, Tom Cruise plays Ethan Hunt. I don't know if you know. But which seemingly there was like 4 million people up for this role. Like if you look through the trivia of every single actual person, like nobody was first choice. So I'm curious as to like what, and I've seen Tarantino's list of humans that can play his characters. Pretty vast, but like very seemingly the same kind of like effort. This is just like Robert Redford. Whoever wants the role, might as well just send it to your agent. But anyway, Mission Impossible. I do think it gets worse. I've only seen 3. I haven't seen anything beyond the third. I know that Tom Cruise progressively has gotten more injured as they go on, because did you know that he does his own stunts?
Yeah, I did know that.
Yeah, you did know that?
He's a big stickler for doing his own stunts, and it's kind of like to the chagrin of like people on the crew, because like if he's the star, if he's out for 6 months or whatever it is, like it's on hold.
He looks like, I think he's been taking maybe some, I don't know if he's been taking like TRT or something, but he was a small faced gentleman back then, and I think in that 10-year period. Not so much anymore. I feel like he's put a lot of weight on his face. Still looks good, but we got a lot of facial muscles. You think he's been working on his face? Is that something that people do?
Maybe the Scientologists do that thing. I don't quite know.
There's a Chinese man. I might be butchering this. There's a man who eats this very hard. It's kind of like mastic gum, but it's even harder. Do you know what mastic gum is? Like the Greek. I actually have some upstairs, but good for you. Ojinga in the Korean variety is something that you would also eat to strengthen your jaw. We kind of gotten away from like chewing on things effectively, and so this man, I guess, decides that he wants to chew. He likes chewing like a cow, but like really hard things. And over years, he has like, I don't know, he looks like a cartoon character. And his jaw is so outrageously cartoonish. Like you wouldn't believe it. You would think it's like surgery, but the dude has just been munching away to a future that's bright. And boy, he has a huge Instagram following or TikTok. I don't even know at this point. But if you want to work on your jaw, I know it could work if you chew hard things. Steven, do you like chewing hard things in your mouth?
No, I mean, I'm more of the gummy bear variety kind of thing. That's the amount of chewing that I'll do. Mastic
You
gum.
want to you want to have the droop when you're like 60, when you're just like melting, your ears
No,
are melting off.
I don't want the droop. So I'm gonna get some of this gum you're talking about just to kind of work
Mastic
out.
gum,
Yeah, maybe.
Grecian, if you will. And I think you will. Ed Lattimore actually put me onto that. Started chewing it. Didn't want to look like a cartoon character, but what do we have in front of us? Mission Impossible, directed by Brian De Palma. You ever heard of him? He's done a
I've
few
heard of him.
movies in the
Yeah,
past. Yeah.
he's
What's your
pretty
favorite
good.
Brian movie? De Palma
Ah,
movie.
man. I mean, Scarface. You gotta put that up there, right? Uh,
There was some good acting in Scarface.
yeah, yeah.
There's a lot of cocaine in that movie too. I think it was like, do you think they actually did cocaine in Scarface?
Oh, 100%. Yeah. I mean, I
Yeah.
think that was part of the budget, right?
Yeah.
Um, I do like casual.
Sisters. You ever seen the horror 1972 flick Sisters?
No, I haven't seen that.
Never heard of it. Never. I was hoping the answer here would be yes. As a film major and a film buff, I really wanted to talk about Sisters because I looked into it and I was like, maybe this is next week because this looks like a disaster. Like, I don't know what happened in 1972, Brian. We need to have a conversation about this. You make Carrie, Crush, Scar. I don't know. Sisters seems like it's a weird, odd mix of movies, but nonetheless, 96. Did you know that this was the third most grossing film in 1996?
I would have thought it would be like number one. I
Do you
didn't
know
look
what
into it, but
what number one sits at? Bet you could. Bet you could guess. Bet you could.
1996. Now Jurassic Park. Jurassic Park 2, maybe?
Close. No. Independence Day, my friend.
Ah, of course.
And so I went back in the various years before this just to see where the 90s, because like I had an inclination to be like, thrillers were really big in the mid 90s and even the late 90s and even now, but like I think less so now. Like every so 1995, do you know what the third most grossing film in 95 was?
This trivia.
Goldeneye.
Oh, okay. Another spy
We
thriller.
fucking
James
love
Bond.
thrillers, right?
Yeah, we
94.
do.
Do you want to know 94? True Lies. What is it about what is it about the third most like grossing films of that year being like a spy thriller? Like I don't know. In the mid 90s, 94, 95, 96, and then Titanic. I guess everyone in the world went to see Titanic in 97, but yeah, you just keep going back and it's just like thriller, spy thriller, like,
Maybe
always at the top.
the studio executives were like, we need a spy thriller. We're gonna get like, maybe a A-list actor, an Arnold Schwarzenegger, a Tom Cruise, and it's gonna be pretty good at the top five for sure.
What is the best spy thriller of all time?
Oh man, best spy thriller. Man, I love the Jason Bourne movies. I think those are right
Do
up
you
there.
like the Jason Bourne without Matt Damon?
No, hell no. Come on. That's just trash.
Did you watch that?
I did, yeah, I did. And I don't remember a single thing that happened in it.
I do remember one single thing. I remember the intro of the first 3 minutes where Jeremy Renner's in Alaska, I believe Alaska, and like they found him, and now he has to like, he's in the middle of fuck all. That's all I remember, and then I remember thinking this movie really sucks. And that's what I left with. So I would agree. I think the Bourne flicks to me are good but not great because there's just too much intricate fighting that I don't know, like like The Raid,
Yeah,
the movie The Raid.
haven't seen it, but
Also
I
with
know it.
that,
Yeah.
fucking terrific. I think, but I think it's good. People are gonna hate me for this. The seven people, and like I don't think it's great because it's just too intricate of fighting. As somebody who very enjoys the fighting, it's just like too detailed. I don't need to watch all that. I'd like to more of that suspense of a spy
I gotta
thriller.
I gotta throw
So
Austin Powers in there. He's definitely a great spy character, spy movie.
So this in particular, Mission Impossible, it's definitely a top three for me. And I will say, I love James Bond flicks. I think they're cheese factory. From pretty much all of them in a moment's time. But once you get into that Bond like world, you're like, oh yeah, I can accept some of this cheddar, put it in my mouth, soft cheddar, because we don't like hard things. I like actually hard things in my mouth. But anyway, why don't we get to the movie itself?
Sure, let's do
Talking
it.
about
Yeah.
chaos and what's happening here. I'll give the introduction since I politely chose this movie that runtime of 110 minutes, called Mission Impossible. Brian De Palma, as we said, 96 PG-13. It's action thriller. 65% on Rotten Tomatoes with an $80 million budget, 457 in the box office. Big, big movie. But when U.S. government operative Ethan Hunt, who's played by Tom Cruise, and his mentor Jim Phelps, played by John Voight, go on a covert assignment that takes a disastrous turn, Jim is killed, and Ethan becomes the prime murder suspect. Now a fugitive, Hunt recruits brilliant hacker Luther Stickle, Ving Rhames, who was actually chosen because they're like he's the antithesis of basically the opposite of what anyone in the world at this moment would think a hacker looks like. And as if you've seen Hackers, this would crucially be a sticking point. And Maverick Pilot, played by Gene Reno, to help him sneak into a heavily guarded CIA building to retrieve a confidential computer file that will prove his innocence. There are 7 of these movies. Do you think one of them could be called Mission Possible? Because I feel like we're being misled.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely
They all work, right? I don't know what the next 4 do after the third, but like there's 100% certainty that this is possible.
you want to see the failed mission that just like goes to shit.
I mean, do you think it was a impossibility that the mission would be accomplished? It seems like maybe like mission hard sometimes.
Sometimes.
Occasionally. Mission occasionally hard. I would
Yeah.
watch that. Be like, oh, this is about to get a little hard, guys. Buckle up. Tom Cruise is doing stunts again.
How can he get out of it? Is he gonna do? Well, he's gonna do it, right? It's Tom Cruise.
He might do it. It's gonna be a little hard though.
Wait. The title says impossible.
Anyway, I don't know why it was not lost on me that this movie is titled Mission Impossible. It just sounds like more like a Mission Improbable.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
not
I
even
mean,
trying to make jokes. I'm being like literal. This is what was happening in my brain, which is probably the idiotic side to me. And I have to ask because like the dress attire of the mid '90s, pretty interesting. I think it's all back basically at this point. But leather jackets don't seem to be coming back. Do you own a leather jacket? And if so, what's the color?
no, don't own any leather jackets. I got a jean jacket, but no leather jackets. I'd like to have a leather jacket. I think I'd look pretty cool in one though.
Have you ever worn that jean jacket in Canada?
It's the proper thing to do, right? I mean, if you go to a wedding, you're just wearing jeans and that jacket.
I don't have a jean jacket. I do have a pair of jeans though. Mission Probable.
I would hope so. I would hope you'd have a pair of jeans. Do you
Tom
have a
Cruise.
leather?
I don't have a leather jacket. I don't know if I've never had a proper leather jacket. I think I've had like a fake leather jacket. Maybe when I knew you. I still know you, but I used to too.
It's true.
I don't know if it was real or not. Come to think of it, maybe I couldn't afford a leather jacket, but my wife has a leather jacket. She has worn it twice. She bought it in Italy. We haggled. No, we're not like hagglers. Haggled for a while. In Italy. Venice? Can't remember. Doesn't matter. Florence. It was in Florence. And she wore it in Germany after that same trip. And then I don't think she's worn it since. It's a really nice red leather jacket. But how often would you wear a red leather jacket? You actually like to look like a cow from time to time in shirts. I think you would love it. You could actually put your little checkerboard on it.
It's a zebra stripe. Thank you very much.
Some people might like to play checkers on it. You could just walk outside and like, hey, can I borrow your shirt? And like, certainly. Mission Probable. Got it for you.
I mean, it's a great shirt, everybody. would.
I really really I think you dress much better than I do, overwhelmingly. But that shirt needs to be burned. It needs to be actually like, if it needs to be treated like a person that basically should be in jail for like 7 lifetimes, and injecting it, I don't know, changing the color. It needs to be on trial. It needs to go through like the whole rigmarole of going through trial. Like, why do you exist in the way you do? And how dare you think that you could ever be donned by a human being? Go to the cow world, zebra world, whatever it might be. But nonetheless, the shirt, I hope to never see it again in
Oh, you
person or
won't.
in pictures.
You might
But
see it again, but
I hope, for the sake of humanity, that it gets burned at the stake, because it looks like a witch would wear that sometimes, occasionally.
hey, this is my thought process going into it. Okay, I have a closet full of shirts, right?
Yeah,
And every podcast, this has been my goal. Every podcast, I'm not going to wear the exact same thing that I wore the last podcast. You're never going to see a repeat shirt,
clearly noticed this. Yes,
a repeat outfit every single time. It's going to
you've
be
had
different.
some repeats, by the way.
Oh no, I haven't. I
You've had some
guarantee you, I haven't.
repeats. Yeah, you've had
You show me
repeats.
a repeat, and I will burn that shirt at the stake.
Oh my god, can I would love to get like AI involved here and have repeats of all the shirts I dislike, so that we can have a seance of burning all your ugly shirts. It'd be lovely. I've had a lot of repeats.
No, I know. Yeah,
It's cold in this basement, which actually I'm putting up a wall that you can't see over here, and things are going to be a little different. But anyway, Mission Impossible or Mission Probable. Um, Big fan. I think, honestly, Tom Cruise has to be the fastest actor sprint wise. Like, definitely for a white dude. Like, he legitimately, from looking at his form, sprinting ability, I think he could break 11. Not now, but back in the 90s, I think he could break 11 for the 100 for sure. I think he's
I
that
don't think
fast.
so. I don't think he's that fast. I think he's quick, but he's
If
short.
you and I are running, short's good. Look at Maurice Green. He's like 5'9". So like, look at Christian Coleman, also very short. Like, we're talking about people who are exceptionally fast. You and I are in the mid 11s. You're telling me that this dude can't he's running faster than the both of us could at our primes, for sure. 100%. You
And he's
think it's the
probably wearing,
camera?
maybe this camera. He's
Do you
wearing
think
loafers
the
too.
camera puts on a few pounds? The camera drops a few seconds.
Put Cruz in some Zoom flies. I'd like to see where he's at. Maybe he could get it.
What do you think, without googling, you think his fastest 100-meter time is?
I would say 12-2.
12.2 is outrageous.
He's an actor. I mean, the camera adds a little bit of a speed to it. You know what I mean? Is there any information on this? I don't think so.
There's an estimated time, which I truly believe it says it's 14.6 seconds estimated on. I don't know how they're gonna. There's another guy on ESPN said basically he's in 12 seconds. I disagree.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
completely disagree. See, somebody else said 11.5. Guess we can average them all. I think he's under 11. Like, if he's in track spikes, for sure. I would need to see an interview of Tom Cruise from back in the day. But nonetheless, I don't think we beat him in our prime.
I think I could take it.
As
I think
as
I could.
somebody you really despise, outside of eating popcorn mixed with
Peanut M&Ms. Yeah.
specifically peanut. I had some of those recently. My daughter hated them. Didn't know you can hate like chocolatey goodness. But anyway, as somebody who doesn't really like to snack during movies, I was eating pizza during this movie, and I thought, is this too heavy to eat during a movie? Like pizza, it was Pizza Hut. It's like, this is a lot. I feel heavy.
I think it's good. I mean, have you ever been to the movie theaters where you can order like a full pizza or chicken tenders like at the seat?
I pick
I pick Alamo Draft House, any of those, you know, dine-in movie theaters.
outstanding.
You liked
May
it?
or
You're a
may
fan?
not. Oh my god! Because The eye pick in what's that? What's the James Blobbity Blah the award James not James Blunt the James Blunt Award for culinary goodness. What's the award that James Beard, right? Is that it?
Yeah, James
James.
Beard. Yeah, I know it
So what is
well.
the James Beard, Mister Chef?
It's an award that is donned to different chefs across the country. It could be best new chef. It could be honoring iconic chef over the years, like a legendary chef.
Iconic.
Which I've actually been able to attend a
What's
James Beard Award party in New
were you
York.
nominated?
Oh, me? No, God, no.
Why the
I'm not.
surprise? It was probably your shirt.
Uh, yeah, it was definitely for a more legendary chef than me. I just got to attend and be there. I didn't even get to eat.
I
Really,
was
I
about to
just
say,
got to.
did you eat his food at least? You didn't get to eat.
I
Hey,
had to help with the
come
setup.
celebrate this competitor to you, and you can't even eat his food to see how good it is, and how legendary compared to your shit slop that you. That's offensive, man. Why can't you eat his food? No, then how are you supposed to judge? I guess you weren't the one judging, but
No,
anyway,
I was not.
big fan of eating, not necessarily pizza, I would say, but I am on a bender of sorts post world champs. I'm just getting fat. It's amazing.
Feels like that
I will,
cough is gone.
yeah, to some extent, 99%, I would say. It was rough for a bit there. The last, yeah, what was that? Last week, it was very rough. I will say this: double lights on your glasses. Do you think that'd be very useful in that moment for the mission probable? Seems like a go-to. Like I think I would have to have double lights.
Oh, when you're in the elevator shaft? Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
you got to
yeah,
have
yeah.
those.
How useful is that? I feel like I sometimes would use them. Like I could probably use them once a day. Like I just need to go check on the chickens in the chicken coop. I don't want to, I don't know where my phone is. Done. Got it. That's amazing,
The
right?
Yeah, where's Ray-Ban when you need them making those LED flashlights?
So getting to the actual dialogue and story of itself, do you know what? Do you want to know my favorite part of this whole movie?
Oh, please tell me.
Which went down a weird rabbit hole. I like the action. I like the dialogue. It's actually a combination to me of like multiple movies. Like the beginning, it's immediately set up that trying to figure out who killed John Voight. And then there's a second part to the movie of people getting together to basically break into one of the hardest places on Earth, a CIA building. But with that said, I also, in the dumbest imaginable way of talking and thinking about your shirt and how ugly it was, and eating pizza, and what would Steven do in a moment like this, I forgot to put my watch on. But I will say this: I want to go back because I think in Tropic Thunder he's got like the best rendition. Tom Cruise and his character, which is Grossman, like Lex Grossman, terrific character by the way, which is all created by Tom. His ability to look at a watch, that alone, that talent, yeah. You see, you look can't be too offensive, but
Oh yeah, you
you
can.
don't look like you don't look like somebody who's masculine looking at your watch. Let's just say that. You're like your elbow's a little out, and like it's moving like dainty. Like the watch is kind of weighing your arm down, so it's like you don't have the strength to lift it up. Like, and I'll add myself to the same group of what I'm categorizing you as. But Tommy Boy, motherfucker, looks like he's got 70-pound watch on and unaffected. Like he'll do this one thing where he pops, and then the intensity of looking at his watch. And I think that there needs to be a top 5 Tom Cruise looking at his watch. 7:16. We've got 36 seconds. Go. Like that intensity is like everything that he is doing in the movie is pretty fucking intense, including running a 10.8 100-meter dash. But the watch, to me, I've never seen a guy look at a watch like that. That was better. You're getting good at it. Good,
I'm
maybe not.
trying. Yeah, I'm taking
Yeah.
notes. Do you think he
All right,
practices
guys.
this? Is this
Yes,
something that he
yes.
like?
Yeah.
He's in his trailer?
I've never seen anyone look so intently at their watch. Maybe a dentist. I don't know. Or somebody like late for an appointment. Just like I've never seen homie. Anyway, I started thinking about like Grossman, who had his watch on as well, also looked at it aggressively, even more aggressively. And then the firm, I believe he also looked at his watch. I think there's a commonality, like in his like contract. I must look at watch
In an intense manner.
intent,
Yeah.
yeah, and very very intently. I'd like to know the answer to that. I'd also like to know the answer if anyone can help me out on what's his fastest 100-meter time. But I will say, in the mid '90s, this to me, whether it's the music, terrific. Who did the music? I have no idea. I
Danny
didn't look it up.
Elfman.
I don't know who that is. I barely know anyone other than John Williams, almost.
Danny Elfman did the soundtrack to Batman, to all like Tim Burton movies.
Mm,
Yeah.
good dude. Made some stuff. I should probably know his name. Um, I will say the fish tank scene, pretty pretty crazy. Do you know how they filmed that?
I do know that that was all like Tom Cruise's idea. He's like, they had the location set up, and it was this big fish tank cafe. And he was like, "What if we blow it up?
Yeah.
I think we should blow it up." And they're like, "Yeah, that might be a little bit too
At
hard."
9:12, we're gonna blow it up.
Um, yeah, I mean, and they were trying to use a stunt double at first, but it just didn't look right, and they were worried that like Tom Cruise could actually probably drown if things go wrong. But he's like, "I'm doing my own stunts, man."
Yeah, I I think it's a really one of the best like spy thriller scenes, because the fact that you get to get gum and he's getting angrier and angrier, and then he just presses together, and you're like, what's about to happen now? And then the gum sticks perfectly, like if you're playing like one of those drinking games, or throwing a wet towel or a wet napkin against the wall and it sticks, and you're like, haha, you drink. And everyone gets to drink because everyone's eating fish. Can you make that scene happen now? Because I don't think people still give a fuck about fish. Do people care about fish? Like, nobody in the '90s was like, "Oh, guys, that Mission Probable scene, with the fish. There's a lot of them. Some potentially extinct ones in the future. Not having it. Nobody was picketing for the fish. Now, I'm not talking about turtles and sharks and things and dolphins. Everything else is seemingly fair game. Nobody gives a shit about fish. Even people, there's a name for you being a vegetarian that also eats fish, like, which is odd to me. Like, nobody cares about fish. So I'm thinking, do you care about fish?
I care
Less?
about I care about certain fish, like you said, like the maybe the endangered ones, or the ones that could get hurt by or straws. Shout out plastic straws. But man, I mean, there's a whole dating website called Plenty of Fish. That's because there's plenty of fish in the sea, man. Nobody cares.
Do you ever wear your watch on your right arm just to see,
Nope.
like, just to see what
I
it
think it
feels
would.
like?
No, I think it would like throw off the equilibrium of my brain, and it would just be a bad day in general to do that.
Yeah, be odd. But
Can't
anyway,
do
he
it.
pulled off the scene swimmingly.
I have to say, like, did you know Emilio Estevez was in this movie?
I forgot. And I wish we had like a live watch on movies and just did like a podcast live. I think it'd be a lot more fun. Did you actually take notes for the first time while you're watching this?
Yeah, I took a lot of notes here. 2
Physical
pages.
notes?
Physical
Wow.
notes, man.
That's
Yeah.
crazy. Interesting. Thank you for that. I appreciate that. I feel like I myself get much more out of it, in the sense that I think about my life in reference to not only the moment there, but when I watch these movies last, and I have more time to think very quickly, I would
Do you
say.
pause it to take notes, or do you just take it in the midst?
It depends on the movie. If it's a Mission Impossible, there's no pausing. It just doesn't need. It doesn't need to be paused. Tom's still running, looking at a watch, pulling a knife out of somebody's back. I don't know. No, there's no pausing. For watching Central Station, yeah, there's definitely a pause. I think there's more nuance there. Uh, you understand the gist. We're watching like 21 grams. Yeah, there's going to be a pause. But any spy thrillers, no, there's no pause. What
The
makes a good thriller, by the way? It's a good spy thriller.
I think there's got to be suspense. There's got to be a double cross, maybe 2 double crosses. There's got to be maybe a mole or a rat, probably a mole, in the midst of the action. Um,
Is there a point where you get too many triple, quadruple crossings and you're just like, okay, this is just confusing?
yeah, and
Like
this
The
is like
Departed was like, all right, one more, and we're like, what is going on? You know, it's like I don't know if we can handle another one. Like this actually becomes a terrible movie. Like if you added one more like double cross, like what would you do with that movie? I don't think I'd like it as. You'd be like, this is good acting, but like, why did you have to go this far? Too much.
too much. Yeah, I think that
How
was
many
like
double crossings do you think has actually existed in real life and been like pulled off? Where like Mission Probable in real life. You think there's been like 7 or 8? Like there's lots of people not trusting each other.
I think you max out at 3. 3 is like the golden rule. Like you can't if you do more than that, then it's just like yeah, you
I
can't
don't.
trust.
I think it actually has happened. I'm gonna go and put myself on a limb here, and I don't remember the exact name of this, but in Boston, for I want to. I'm just bullshitting. 40 years, I believe they tried to make. I think it was a subway under Boston, or like basically a tunnel was being drilled, and it took like 40 years, and the amount of money that went into it, and it never got finished. I think it was in like 50 billion or something. Again, none of this is real. The fact is, it did happen in Boston, and there was a lot of red tape and a lot of crookedness throughout. I think it needs to be a movie. Honestly, might be a little boring. Terrible. Got all these dad jokes today, but that I would imagine has a lot of double and triple crossings, especially in the city of Boston. Um, I think there should be a movie about that again. But I will say, did you know when Tom Cruise was upside down, flipping randomly, like how does the dude underneath not know a human's there? Is it because he's sick? Because like a presence in a room where effectively there's no like it's super protected and probably quiet. How does he not know homie's just hanging and dancing on top of his head?
When are you ever going into a room and looking above you though? Come on, like you got blinders on.
Well, my ceilings are 9 feet, so I can naturally see them. But if I were in a room that was that high, probably, I don't know. I don't know if I would do it or not. You have natural blinders when you walk in rooms.
I do, yeah, yeah. I have blinders all the time, bro. Like I'm not paying attention to a lot of shit. But I
That's
will
so
say,
funny that you're admitting that walking in rooms, you're like, I didn't see you. You weren't there to
no,
me. That's
especially if like
hilarious.
if you're sick and you're vomiting, like you're looking for the trash can. You're not looking like up at the ceiling tiles. No,
Have you ever gave X-Lax to somebody to see them shit their brains out?
I
You
feel
seem
like
like a
that's
nice guy.
I feel like that's cruel, man. And I'm not cruel like that. Like no, that would be. I've seen
Is
people
it
like
cruel?
take. I've seen people take X-Lax as like a dare to see what would
Yeah,
happen.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
that's
Yeah, I
fun.
mean, like Jackass would be the group of people, for example, that probably would be not cruel individuals. They just like to joke around with each other a little bit. Steven,
But yeah,
it's fun.
but they all do it willingly without not. Well, sometimes I
Kind
guess
of.
it's a prank,
There's a lot
and
of
they
a
don't
lot of times where they actually pause and we're like, we've probably gone a little too far on this
cross
one.
the
Yeah,
line.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And then you apologize. We actually did it to one of my friends, this large guy, but we gave him children's X-Lax, and it turns out it didn't do anything to him. He was a huge dude.
Ah,
Didn't like him too much, but we were joking around. Um, weren't really friendly, to be honest.
were you
It
just
was a
waiting for him to
combination.
like run to the bathroom?
Jason, and I were like, let's just see what happens. Give him some. Yeah, and he never went to use the restroom. We never told him. So it was very anticlimactic. Nothing happened. It's like, what are we doing? Anyway, children's X-Lax, I guess, doesn't work too well on adults.
Big adults.
But I miss the mid '90s spy thrillers. Honestly, like Pelican Brief. I think that was maybe '92 or '93. Like that era of movies to me, and which led up to the best year of cinema. I think it just is. Again, going back to what makes a good spy thriller, what makes a good suspense. I would agree. I think there is this notion, and I really don't know how to explain it, of timing and editing in movies now on almost all movies that are a little quirky or maybe focus features. like literally the company. And like there's a print of font that is used, for example, in Long Legs. I would say that's quintessentially, even though you hated the movie, I loved it. I just didn't like the use of that font. It's been used so frequently, and things are in blocks now, and it's
Yeah.
a very common idea. And it reminds me of like branding of major companies. Like everyone uses the same font now of like for the last 5 or 6 years, and before that, Google, AOL, and people were using like their own little fonts to make their own brand popular. But everyone uses the same font now. I feel like that's where we are with kind of spy thrillers now. It's or just general movie going nature. Um, and I feel like there was a brand to each one of these spy thrillers. Where the Pelican Brief, very different. The Firm, very different. Any movie with Tom Cruise, like for example, Mission Impossible, and even the Bonds from this day and age, which off when they came out, people were like, this is like the worst shit ever." I loved them still. True Lies, outstanding if you go back and watch it. So I miss, and I sound like an old man, but I do miss the mid '90s spy thrillers or just thrillers in general. I think they're more catered to a good script and good directing, and not relying heavily on big blocked letters and forceful like way of making a person think about a movie. We're like, oh, this is where I'm supposed to think this is suspenseful, or opposed to providing the suspense and the viewer being like, this is suspenseful. I think there's a disconnect, and I think the mid '90s and the early '90s and late '90s in general did this exceptionally well.
Well, you got to even look at like what Brian De Palma's idea of like what was going on in the mid '90s with like these Michael Bay action films and The Rock and stuff like that. And he's like, hey, I'm going to make this spy thriller. And in the middle of the movie, there's going to be a 25-minute set piece where it's all silent. And it's just going to be Tom Cruise breaking into the CIA. It's not going to be big, loud, bombastic. It's going to be like a silent film. And that was like, that was brilliant. It was incredible.
Awesome. What are your thoughts on Michael Bay? Do you like Michael Bay?
I like Michael Bay in small doses.
Why?
I because I think it's fun, and especially like
Why do you not
his
like him in
earlier
large
stuff.
doses?
Because it's just too much, man. It's too loud. It's too big. It's too over the top, and I can't sit in a I can't watch a double feature of like two Michael Bay films. No thanks.
Who are the people that it's not too much?
I like this, like
Because
this.
like epileptics probably just can't do a Michael Bay flick, right? So like, who are these individuals, non-epileptic people, who are having a blast? Because like I swear to God, 100% of his movies, at some point, I'm like, I got to turn this shit off. Like this is not conducive to, I don't know, life. Like it's just too aggressive in the editing and the fast nature of it. And like if I wanted to it reminds me of when I was a kid and I would ride my bike down the street, and then I would shake my head while riding my bike down the street. And I wouldn't realize, this is so dumb of me. I would realize it only at the end when I'm on the ground, that if you shake your head fast enough, you can't really see anything or digest anything of what you're visualizing, and you can't actually feel falling to the ground. And then you just are on the ground. And I feel like that's what Michael Bay films are. Just shakes the fucking camera, and then you're just like, what did I watch? And smacking your head against the ground. I think, but I want to know the people that are like, dude, Michael Bay.
I'm gonna
Like
go
I'm a
see all his
UFC,
movies.
I'm a UFC fan. I bet it's like all like MMA watchers, like who are people who are like addicted to the UFC. Like, this is the greatest thing ever. Yeah, brother.
Even in this movie, like the
Go
final like
affliction.
the final action scene, it was like that was when I was like kind of tuned out the most, like with the
Yeah,
helicopter and the train. Like I don't
yeah, yeah,
I
for
don't care
sure.
because I know that this mission is not going to be impossible. Ethan Hunt is not going to die, and it just seems loud, bombastic, and it's just something that I just tune out of. But like the actual scene of like him hanging in Langley, like that's
It's
just
great.
my bread and butter. Yeah.
I like the Ocean's 11 original for some of the moments of that. I think there's too many people involved. I think it has the same problem that Black Mirror does this iteration where there's too many famous people in movies in Black Mirror, and like they're so recognizable. I actually prefer the Black Mirror that was nobody you didn't know who anyone was. Ocean's 11, I kind of got that too. I'm like, there's just too many characters, individuals here. But anyway, I do miss. I'm never gonna write a spy thriller, but I do miss a good one from the 90s. I feel like there's an endless supply of people who want to write the next big like Bond or Ethan Hunt, my father included.
Oh
And boy,
yeah,
do they just suck bad. Like terrible. Like yeah, it's hard. It's hard reading through some of them. But we all want to be that Ethan Hunt. We all want to be that James Bond. That cool guy who can look at their watch and be as manly as possible. Yeah, that's good. And and you're 4 times doing this. You should compare in like a small video of like what you've just done and me of how you've progressed. You're doing really
yeah.
well. Yeah,
Hey,
yeah. If I was
thanks, man.
a coach of how to look at your watch, I don't think I need to coach you anymore. You're doing it well. You're doing it
Thanks, man.
live.
That really means a lot to me.
You should still
Uh,
burn your shirt though.
I will if you find another video of me wearing the exact same thing. Guaranteed. Do it. It's gonna happen.
100%.
What else did
100%.
you what else did you like about this flick?
You know, I've said about 4,000 different things of
I
what I
like.
like about this flick. I don't know what a Dutch angle is. I know what a Dutch oven is.
Well, we're not talking about ovens. Dutch angle is basically where Brian De Palma takes the camera and like tilts it where you're like at a very uh, like this angle of the face where it's just looking up. The camera's looking up at that face, and it gives you this like this almost strange like idea of like what's going on in the scene. And he does a lot
So
of it.
it's the opposite of what like influencers in the wild would do. Because like you have
Yeah,
upper, they'd be like the fat chin would come out. The
correct.
opposite.
Yeah,
They don't
the
want to do
opposite.
that. Yeah. So like the
They're
influencer,
doing
man,
it
we
from
should.
up here.
You know what? You, I think, created a page on Instagram. Not to blow up the world here. Are we talking about this?
We can talk about it. Sure. Yeah.
Midair, don't care. I think that's you, right?
Yeah, that's my old like little meme page that I made back in the day.
I
Uh,
think, first of all, that's brilliant. And the first time I ever heard about this, it's probably the smartest thing you've ever done. Like, I still look at the pictures and I'm like, we need more of this. Like, it should have continued. But nonetheless, I think the same idea could exist in the way of just mocking influencers and doing the Dutch angle. And you could call it some iteration of Dutch angle. But we should start this off finding the Dutch angle and finding people who would be supportive, and then it starts off like a 4chan thing. I don't even look at 4chan stuff. I don't even know what it is to be honest. But like it starts off as a joke, then becomes like real, where the influencer, oh, you have to take the Dutch angle.
the
We got
Dutch
to
angle.
we got to do this just to see how fat people really could be. But anyway, I could watch Mission Impossible 2, Mission Probable 2 after this. I guess I have to watch the fourth one because I don't think I'll ever make it past 3.
I mean,
I should just go instantly into 4.
there's a new one coming out this summer that I think you got to watch.
You know, Tom Cruise, Edge of Tomorrow, probably in terms of the genre, it's probably his best flick.
You know why, right?
What do you mean why? No, I don't. You tell me.
I think the reason why Edge of Tomorrow was so good and people liked it so much was that you get Tom Cruise at the beginning and pretty much middle of this film as this complete loser. Like he doesn't know how to fire a gun. He doesn't know how to do any of this shit. It's the first time you see Tom Cruise like in a role where he is kind of a pussy. And over the course of the film, he becomes a badass, and that's what makes it.
I mean, I really like the storyline, to be honest. Yeah. Yeah. That's kind of why I like it.
That's part of the story of Tom Cruise becoming the badass that he could be, but he wasn't at the start.
I don't really think of him as the main character of it. Even
Oh, he's the main character. Yeah, for sure.
yeah, I don't think of him as the main character.
Tom Cruise would never star in a movie and not be the main character. You kidding me? Not anymore. He's got to be
Mission
number one.
Impossible 8 coming to you May 13th. But
Favorite
anyway,
line in the movie? Do you have a favorite line? I got a favorite line.
yeah, there were no, not really. There was one quote that I wrote down. It just wasn't that significant.
It's not significant at all, my quote either, but it's
Yeah.
Emilio Estevez explaining the exploding gum. He says, "Hasta lasagna, don't get any on ya."
Oh my god. I mean
It's great.
that's
That's 90s, man. That's what we're
that's
talking about here.
90s. Emilio.
He was uncredited in this role. He didn't get a
I
credit. It
know.
was like a favor to Tom Cruise.
How does that
And
how does that work? How do you not get credited for something?
it's a pretty significant role. And I mean,
If you're talking multiple lines, I mean it was short, sweet, but like I don't understand that. How do you not get credited? All you have to like what does that mean when you don't get credited? There's impossibility of being paid basically in the future?
I think so, yeah.
God, dude, this movie, Jesus. Fuck. That sucks. Because he's
They
not.
even,
Oh,
yeah, John Woo was the director of the second one, and they were even like trying to figure out a way to bring Emilio Estevez back. And they're like, we saw him die. So, like, I don't think
yeah.
there's any way. His face got impaled by an elevator safety spring or whatever.
But did it? I mean, John Voight died.
The blood, whatever. I met John Voight, by the way. I got a story about him.
Wow. Look at that. You've met Shaq as well.
I have, yeah.
And Adam Sandler. Who else have you met? Don Cheadle?
Don Cheadle, yeah.
With the water. Right? Is that
Michael
the story?
Keaton? Yeah, with the water. With the John Voight, this was my time at a restaurant in Santa Monica. And I was walking around, kind of checking on tables, and John Voight stops me. He's like, "Everything's great here. Everything's great." I'm like, Thank you so much." And he's like, Are you an actor?" And I go, "No, I'm a restaurant manager." And I looked at him and I go, "Are you an actor?" And he goes, "No, I'm a restaurant manager." And that was our conversation.
Why don't you take pictures of these human beings?
I'd probably get fired. Probably not.
What? Why? You're not gonna get fired.
It's like one of those unspoken things of like they're in a place of
unspoken, meaning it's not spoken, meaning nobody's told you. Ask for forgiveness, not permission.
Yeah, maybe.
This
but
is the difference. This is the difference. I give people X-lax. You don't.
Baby X-lax.
That's right. It doesn't do anything to anyone. But you should start taking pictures. Hashtag Scene Weekly. I when I was talking about Mr. Tom Cruise, Minority Report might trump it all. That
God, I haven't seen that in a long time.
Philip K. Dick short story, Steven Spielberg. That probably trumps it all. I would say that's one of those
Is that where they're like prosecuting people or arresting people for crimes that they
in advance
haven't committed yet? Yeah,
correct. Yeah,
sounds pretty dystopian to me.
Yeah, but here we go. Got to go run 4 miles here in a second. Back to.
Are you on a new training block? What are you doing here?
I'm running easy. Okay. Trained 6 months for a race, Steven, and you get sick, and then it all goes to shit. I'm still very happy about this, as you can tell. I wake up every day and think about it, and I pretty much start my day angry. And they say you should get over things within 24 hours. I'm having a hard time with that one.
Yeah, it's a tough one.
Time.
For sure.
6 months. Just spending 6 months. I could have just like hung out for 6 months. That would have been great.
That's what I did.
Yeah. Look at our differences. We both won nothing. God. How's your marathon training going, which started 2 nights ago?
Yeah, it's going pretty good. I did 20 push-ups the other day.
Did you run?
Yeah, I ran 3.5 miles.
Yesterday?
On the treadmill. Yeah.
You have a treadmill? Oh, and
I have a gym, all that stuff. So it's going to go slow, and then I'm going to ramp it up this summer. the weather gets nice here in LA. Just waiting for that.
The weather gets nice in LA. It's April. I've been there
Yeah,
like 20 times. Even in December, it's like it was like 70s. Like this is outstanding. What do you mean? What, like 110? What do you want? I love when
yeah. I'm
people
just
say like, in the future, I'm gonna do this. Why don't you just start today?
yeah. It's what I'm
Something
gonna
I'll
do.
never say. You know, when the weather no, I'm gonna fucking get out today. I'm gonna go out and run.
Mission Possible.
7 years in November, I will have run every single day on average of 7 miles a day. And do you know what's funny about that? Mark Williams, who got silver and bronze in the 8 and 1500, I guess I can call him a friend at these points, has got like basically double double that. He's like 12 years in or something like that.
Holy crap! Wow.
Yeah. So maybe one day, yeah, maybe I can like Tanya Harding him so I can beat him. Just kidding.
Don't do that. Don't do that,
Anyway, oh
kids.
yeah, we got to rate this movie. How
Oh
do you
yeah, we
rate
got
these
one rating here. This is weird. This is strange.
glasses? Oh boy. Oh, I haven't even thought about this to be honest. 65% is pretty low for a Rotten Tomatoes score, and something that I think actually influenced. It changed my idea of thrillers. Mr. Cruz, man, what do you do? What do you think? Why don't you go first?
Me?
I have an
Yeah,
idea in my brain.
okay. Yeah, I think this movie is full of style. I love Brian De Palma's directing. I love his hazy Prague blue fog kind of style that he brings to this. This is just it's Brian De Palma is like fascinated by Hitchcock, and you can see all the influences of Hitchcock in this film, which is great. I think Tom Cruise looking at his watch, I think you kind of sold me on that. That was that was a big moment I didn't even realize I needed to pay attention to. Um, but yeah, I mean it's a spy thriller of the '90s that kind of kick-started a 7 film franchise over the course of 30 years now, or what do we get into? It's just wild. Um, the plot kind of tricky, kind of hard to explain, but I don't think that's the point of it. I think it's more of the set pieces and like the idea of the spy thriller. So I'm giving this 4 glasses.
See, that's where I was at. But discussion. 4 glasses as well. I wonder if there's a thriller that's a five glass thriller. Spy thriller, not just thriller.
I like Spy Game with Robert Redford and Brad Pitt. I haven't seen it in a while, but I remember liking it a lot. Might be up there. Enemy of the State.
I think if you go back to the 70s, in the 70s,
Clute.
and
Clute is good.
probably look at like the spy thrillers there, or even like the Manchurian Candidate, you might get a 5 glass. But what's good about the 90s and these types of movies also is probably its impediment to being a well-rated movie overall, I think. I mean, a four glass movie is great, but it's never going to touch upon 5. Anyway, until next week, are we actually going to be doing this live? Glenn Gary, Glenn Ross.
Yeah, Glengarry Glen Ross, David Mamet play made into the film. Man, I'm
This
excited to
starts
talk
off
about that one.
immediately. First of all, we can talk about it next week, but the character, the actors in this, top notch, absolutely top notch. And then within like 10 minutes, no, within 8 minutes, I was like, this is one of the best films of all time, which I say every week. And I stopped it because I wanted to watch it with my wife. So there we are.
I love that. Oh,
Very,
little
very much
little
looking
little
forward to it.
teaser into that. All right, till next week, guys.
Goodbye.